Hello world. Since the 1st of October, Iraqi people are protesting and demonstrating in the streets. Over 500 people were killed and over 20,000 people were injured. And you may ask why. Why are people in Iraq going in demonstrations against the government? It's like a democratic government. So why are people going and demonstrating against their government that they elected before 1 year? So I'm going to explain it step by step. So let's start from 2003 when America occupied Iraq. When America occupied Iraq and Saddam Hussein were killed in 2006, they were in a little trouble because who are going to lead Iraq? Who are going to lead and be the president of Iraq? The ministers of Iraq? Who will it be? So America did notice that the Iraqi people are very religious. So they think, oh, okay, let's give the power and the government to religious people. And that's what's the start of the worst government of Iraq's history. You may ask why these people are bad, just because they are religious? No. The problem is that these people, the politicians now that are religious, they are like doing whatever Iran says to them. So actually, it's like that the president of Iran is leading Iraq. Like, it's like that, because everything Iran says to the government of Iraq does that. Everything. Though, as example, Iran wanted to transfer weapons from Baghdad to Damascus in Syria to fight some terrorist group in Syria. So Iran, just without saying anything to Iraq, they just filled a plane just with weapons and they transferred it from Baghdad to Damascus without saying anything to the government of Iraq. And this documentation is leaked, and you can see it if you search about that in New York Times. It was leaked about 1 month ago. So that's one of the reasons that actually Iraq doesn't have a separated government, and everything is led like from Iran. And that's the first reason why people are demonstrating and protesting. And the second and the biggest reason is like, okay, the Iraqi people is okay that Iran is influencing Iraq, and the Iraqi government are just doing what Iran says, but that's okay for the people. But the biggest problem is that the people of Iraq are poor. They don't have healthcare, they don't have good education. Like in a normal classroom here in Europe or in the US, you may find like one teacher to every 20 students or 30 students as maximum. But in Iraq, you can easily find a classroom with one teacher and a little classroom filled with like 50, 60, 70 or 100 students in the same classroom. How do you think that education is going to be? You may also sit in the floor. If you don't find a seat, you must sit on the floor, and that's your education actually. So bad education, bad healthcare, everything is actually bad. The people are getting zero from their oil. Like, the budget of Iraq is $200 trillion each year, but Iraqi people are not getting something out of that. Statistics shows that every Iraqi man that works around 12 hours each day, and in the end, each day they only get around $3 to $5. You can imagine that, $3 to $5 if you work in 12 hours each day. And if you work for the government, like in healthcare or something, you are going to get around $10 each day. So think about how, like, $300 in a month, and you must pay for your house, you must pay for the electricity. Like we are going to talk about the bad services. One of the services, electricity. Iraq does have one of the baddest electricity in the world. Iraqi home does have around 8 hours of electricity every day, just 8 hours. So they have around 14 hours or 16 hours without electricity every day. So you can imagine that. So bad politicals that are actually led by Iran, bad services like bad healthcare, bad education, and one also of the biggest problems that is one of the reasons that people are demonstrating are the fact that the government is corrupted. So as we said in the start or in the beginning, $200 trillion is the budget of the Iraqi government. But actually, as we said, people don't get paid anything from that. They just get a little 0.0 something percent back to people, while the politicals in the different ministers in the different ministries are corrupting Iraq. So, like, I am going to give you an example. One of the examples is in 2017, when the Minister of Health in Iraq chose to buy some medical shoes or sandals from Portugal. So, okay, they said, okay, we are going to buy sandals and medical shoes. Every pair they pay they bought about 1.5 million shoes or something, 1.5 million pair of shoes, medical shoes or something, but they did pay $50 each pair. You may say, okay, why is that a problem? Okay, the problem is that actually the real price of that shoes is 0.50 cent, a $0.50 for every pair. So it's like 100 times more that was actually not paid, but the Minister of Health, the workers, the Minister of Health, Adil Ahmoud, and their workers just got some few billions into their pocket, while the Minister of Health is one of the baddest ministries in Iraq. People, when they get, for example, injured now in the demonstrations, they must travel to Turkey or India to get health, to get better health. In Iraq we have good doctors, good teachers. Everything is good about the people, but the problem is about the government. And you may ask and wonder, why are people protesting against their democratic and their elected government that were elected before 1 year? Okay, I'm going to answer you. Simply, every Iraqi, a woman, a man, or even a child or a baby, knows that the elections is already fake. So if every Iraqi man or woman or child, even a child, vote for someone, their vote are going to someone else. The whole election is fake. So simply everyone knows who are going to win before the election. So that's why demonstrators want to have an election that the UN is controlling the election and sees if it is fake or not, because everything is corrupted in Iraq. Like not joking, everything is corrupted in Iraq, and that's why this government doesn't represent the people of Iraq. And the biggest three reasons why Iraqi people are demonstrating and protesting: one is the Iran and how they actually lead Iraq. Two, bad services by the government, that as we said about the Minister of Health as example. Three, fake elections that are getting people that Iraqi people don't want to have as their president or minister, but they are getting there by faking the elections. Like I have million of reasons that I can say in the video, but I don't want the video to be too long for you. Like I could speak about that over 30% of the people doesn't have any work, that that is over 500 militias in Iraq that the government doesn't do anything about. Like it's many reasons, but as a summary, Iraq's government is a mafia. So what you can do for supporting the Iraqi people, you could share this video so everyone sees how Iraqi people are actually being killed by the government. If you want, you can donate to Iraqi demonstrators by like it's many ways, like Facebook. It's a Facebook page where you can donate. Even $10 is enough for the people in Tahrir Square that are being there for like 55 days. They won't go home before this government is going away, and the new fair elections is going to be there. If you don't have the money to donate, just like as I said, share this video to your friends and just pray for the Iraqi people. Thanks for watching. Peace.